Donald Trump's very swollen and sweaty physical appearance has raised eyebrows in what was meant to be a complete and total softball interview with Fox News' Brett Baier. We're going to look at it. There are moments when Trump seems utterly lost and completely unable to put together a single coherent sentence. He was asked by Brett Baier about the infamous and ongoing investigation into the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. He seems just gone. He is barely able to put together a single straightforward, non-meandering, coherent sentence. Take a listen.
On mobile,
but you're the president. Can't you find out?
No, I know. I'm relying on my people to tell me what it is. You know, we have deep-seated craziness in this country, and I'm relying on my people. And so far, they're good.
He seems to be remembering what he was told to say, and he's just completely unable to remember. So he's stringing together random words.
But so far, and in this case, it's Secret Service, they tell me it's fine. But it's a little hard to believe, to be honest with you, okay? It's a little bit hard to believe as I get that throbbing feeling.
Yeah.
I get a little throbbing feeling.
Well, if you find out, we'd love to know. We continue to ask.
I know. I
and a lot of people ask us.
It's a little bit strange. We have incredible people in there now, so.
With total respect, Brett Baier would love to know the outcome of the investigation into the assassination attempt against Donald Trump. Barely a single completed thought or sentence there. At another moment during this interview, Trump pulls out another rhetorical or linguistic tool that he loves, which is referring to nuclear weapons, or as some like to say, nuclear. I don't say that, but some do. Hold on, do I have it here?
Nuclear proliferation.
Right. Trump refers to nuclear weapons as the N-word, and again, just seems utterly lost.
Everyone was stronger, to a point where the next one's going to be, you know what, the N-word. You know what the N-word is, right?
Nuclear.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
I figured you'd want to clean that up. No, it's the N-word. That's a very nasty word, right? In a lot
nasty
of ways. The N-word used in a nuclear sense, that's the worst thing that can happen. And I think they were very close. The hatred was great. And I said, we're going to talk about trade. We're going to do a lot of trade. Don't forget, Iran wants to make a deal with us badly for a lot of reasons. But
what are we to make of this? What sort of statements are these? This is it. It just doesn't. It's a conversation. It's surreal in a way because we see two humans, right? We see two members of Homo sapiens. We see so much that we're accustomed to. Their mouths open and close. We hear audio. They are words we recognize. Nuclear, word, perfect, etc. But it doesn't mean anything. And we are left to figure out, was that an actual conversation? The topic turned to oil. I guess Trump is trying here to talk about oil techniques. And again, just meandering endlessly.
No, I think they want to make a deal. You know, you say to yourself, they have massive oil, by the way. They have oil that lasts for 300 years. They have a lot of oil. People don't realize they're one of the biggest in the world. And it's very good oil, meaning it's pure, perfect stuff. They don't have to, spend a fortune on gases and energy in order to melt the rock and everything.
One thing Trump hates is spending any money on gases.
And they have pure, unadulterated, good oil. And you say, why does somebody that has that kind of oil, other than being politically correct, but when you have unlimited amounts of oil and gas, why are you putting up, why do you need civil nuclear? I just don't see it.
But I mean, are you going to call for it all?
And I think nuclear is fine. I think nuclear is fine for civil if you have a country with no oil. But if you're sitting on one of the largest piles of oil in the world, why are you talking about putting up nuclear?
Trump's for nuclear, but he's against it if you have oil. if the oil is good and not the kind that you need gases for, I guess. President of the United States, Brett Baer acting like this is all a normal conversation. Trump then weighing in on trips and money and Ukraine. I'm going to just be very upfront here. I couldn't tell you what point he's trying to make here.
I haven't seen you get personal. On Truth Social, you said, Vladimir, stop. He hasn't stopped. And you had once said that maybe you need to look at other things like sanctions or banking.
Okay, so
because maybe they need to be pressured in a different way.
And I'll be doing that if
and do you think that it's
I don't want to see 5,000 people. You know, outside of the money, which is a big deal, but the money is the money. The money we can make up. I can make up the money on one trip like this. Okay, I mean.
I guess Trump sees these as sort of like sales trips where he gets money.
Think of it. This trip, I made 12 times the money that we're talking about.
Trump made money on the trip.
That money
How many cars did you sell?
in a few days. I've always been good
But
with
it's not
money.
about the money, it's about pressuring Putin, right? I mean,
No, but I've always been good with money. I make money. I made in 4 days, I made 12 times what we spent in Ukraine. So the money is the money.
I'm going to get a great Q3 bonus.
What bothered me, I hated to see the way it was, excuse me, pissed away.
All right. So I guess Trump says the money's no big deal for Ukraine. I don't like how it's being spent, but I can make it back really easily on a Middle East sales trip or something like that. Trump then just Brett Baer throwing a bouquet at Trump and says, how do you do it with such a grueling schedule? And Trump's answer is genetics. Genetics.
Stops. It's a pretty grueling schedule. A lot of people said, how the hell do you do it?
by the way, how the hell do you do it?
I don't know. I think it's genetics. It's good genetics. I had a father
I'm
who was
wiped
very
out.
strong, and I had a mother who was very strong. They lived to ripe old ages, and they were great people. And
There you go. Genetics allows Trump to do what he does, which is a terrifying concept. And then finally, the luxury 747 from Qatar. Why is it okay for Trump to accept it? He finally explains it here.
And he suggested this, and I said, you know what, that's very nice. That's very nice, I appreciate it. What would be the price? He said, there is no price. I said, that's nice. Now, this plane's not for me. This goes to the United States Air Force, for whoever is president.
It then goes to Trump's Presidential Library Foundation.
And at some point, it'll be like Ronald Reagan, it'll be decommissioned. You know, it's 11 years old.
So it stays until it's decommissioned.
Yeah, it'll be decommissioned because they won't want it. Plus, they'll have the other two planes by that time, and there'll be brand new planes, etc. But I just want to say, it was a radical left story that a lot of people, including you,
I asked the Prime Minister about
But
it
you know what?
specifically.
Yeah,
and
good.
he said, he didn't understand the reaction back home. And, he made that clear.
There you go. Oh, what a crazy world we now live in. And there is we have to remember that inside of our little bubble, we see this and we say, he can't think. He can barely put together a sentence. None of this makes any sense. He's justifying authoritarianism. He's justifying bribes. He's justifying everything. He doesn't understand anything. But there is a non-insignificant part of this country that sees this interview and goes, that's what I voted for. Go get him. If you're like me, you may have found yourself standing in front of a massive wall of wine at the grocery store, clueless and unsure what to pick. Thankfully, I found a better way, and that's Naked Wines. Our sponsor, Naked Wines, just connects you directly with the best independent winemakers in the world, brings award-winning wines right to your doorstep. I recently cracked open a bottle from Naked Wines, and it was great. No distractions, no screens, just a great glass of wine and unwinding at home. My girlfriend prefers the red wine. I prefer the white wine. Naked Wines makes it easy to split a box between the two. And the prices are unbeatable because they remove those retail middlemen, and it lets the winemaker offer high quality wines at up to 60% off typical prices. Everybody wins. The independent wineries thrive, and you get great wine without breaking the bank. No membership fee, No commitment. You can pause or cancel at any time. Easy, stress-free wine shopping. Now's your chance to try Naked Wines yourself. Head on over to nakedwines.com/Pacman. Click Enter Voucher and use my code Pacman for both the code and the password. You'll get 6 bottles of delicious wine for just $39.99, including shipping. That is $100 off your first 6 bottles.